Are you struggling with changing chords smoothly and on time? If you are, you're definitely not alone. If you're tired of sounding like a newbie and you want to play freely and naturally, like I assume you signed up for when you started this, I'm going to show you the exact system that's helped thousands of my students change chords easily. It's called the finger sequencing method. Not only will this help you to change chords more easily, but it'll give you confidence that you need to have fun playing guitar. And it makes you want to practice more when you have fun. And it's a cycle. You get better from practicing and so on. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to eliminate those gaps between chord changes. And I'll show you why your fingers keep getting stuck and a simple sequencing method that'll make all this easy and automatic. I've used this system with hundreds of my adult students, and they went from choppy chord changes to playing songs that they really enjoyed. To start off, let me show you the biggest mistake that keeps those chord changes slow and clunky. When I first started out, I had the same problems. I remember watching a guitar player at the farmer's market, and he was strumming away and talking to people as he was playing. It looked so easy. I found out pretty quickly that it wasn't. I learned a few chords and basic strums, and then when I tried to apply them to a song, it all fell apart. Now, those days are somewhat a distant memory for me now. It seems easy to strum. But the one thing I can clearly remember was thinking maybe something's wrong with me. Maybe somehow I don't have what it takes. The one thing that I have found out for sure is that guitar player, and I include myself, are definitely not more talented or gifted than you are. It's just that we're doing something different. Let me show you something. What most beginners do, including myself, was when we change chords, we take our fingers off the strings and then try and find a new place for the fingers. So listen. And then usually it would take me a while, right? Not going to work in the song for sure. Now listen to this. The same chord and no gap, right? No hesitation between chords. The difference wasn't that I changed faster. It's efficiency. It's the way I moved my fingers. What I did that second time is called the finger sequencing method. So instead of just lifting all my fingers off and putting them back on, what I did was analyze which fingers can stay put, which ones can stay on the same string and just slide, and which ones need to come off and move to another string or another place on the fretboard. Then you move them in order, in the best order, hopefully in an order that you get used to so it becomes a habit and you don't have to think about it anymore. And in that way, the chord progression just flows. So here are the exact 4 steps. First, you analyze which fingers need to change, slide on the string, or completely relocate. Step 2 is you lift strategically. Only lift the fingers you need to. And step 3 is you sequence the movement. What I mean is that you actually strategically decide which one goes first, second, and so on. Usually it's the bass note that goes first. Step 4 is minimal distance. You want to keep the fingers close to the fretboard to save energy and, of course, time. So think of it like you're in a relay race when they pass that baton from one person to another. So here's my baton. Okay, I know. It's the best I got, toilet paper roll. But it'll get the point across. When one person hands it to the other, there's a moment where one person grabs it and one lifts off. If you both lift off at the same time, it falls. But it works. What you're after is one smooth, continuous motion. Let me show you a few examples of how this works. Now, I'm going to use fairly simple chords, and actually I'll get a little more complex as we go. I promise you the same thing applies to even the most complex Spanish guitar chords and progressions. But if I start simple, it'll be easier to understand, and of course that's the best place to start practicing. Let's start with the C to the A minor. That's a fairly easy one and kind of obvious. We've got my C chord. We're going to move to the A minor. Now, I've got little dots on the fingers that are going to be anchors. That means they're going to stay put. And I'm only going to move one finger for this. We're going to move that ring finger on the left hand over to the 3rd string, 2nd fret. You see, the other 2 are anchors and they stay put. That makes for a nice, smooth chord change. C to A minor. Now, here's a little more complex one. I'm going to use a 4-finger G. And I'm going to move to the D chord. Now you notice there's quite a few different notes from G to D, but we can smooth it out by using that ring finger on the left hand as an anchor finger. And it'll stay on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. I'm going to move my index finger and middle finger over to the D position. Notice the pinky is still down. Then I lift the pinky up last. That gives me a good solid anchor, both the ring finger and the pinky down. And when I release the pinky, the rest of the fingers are already in place and hold a good solid foundation. So again, from G to the D, I'm switching my fingers around in the air as I come to the D chord, and then the pinky comes off last. Now, in the final example, I'm going to go from G to D again, but I'm going to use a 3-finger G with the pinky. It's very valuable, and this is a very common motion. We're going to go to the D chord, and there's no finger that's going to be anchored or, in fact, in common. Watch. When I go to the D chord, I leave my pinky where it is, switch my fingers around in the air, and when I come down, then I take the pinky off. My pinky is serving as a reference. Even though it's not part of the chord, it holds the place, so I have a kind of a reference in my left hand of where the fingers are going to go. I can feel the distance from my pinky to the rest of the notes. And then the pinky comes off at the very final end. This happens very quickly. If you were to watch me play, it'd be hard to see it. I recommend starting with the easier ones, like the C to the A minor, and get the habit of how it works, and then start working on the more complex ones. Eventually, you want to be able to do this on your own with any chord changes that you're making. I'm not trying to give you a set of movements for every chord change that comes up. It's a set of principles that you can use to change between any chords. Okay, before I show you how to make this approach easy and automatic, let's talk about the elephant in the room. You might be thinking, hey Thomas, planning out and thinking where to put my fingers sounds like a lot of work. I play for fun and relaxation. That doesn't sound like fun. It's true, it is more work up front. And it's perfectly okay to play for fun sometimes. But practicing this way, and we'll call it practicing strategically, this will get you to the point where you feel like the music is just flowing out of your fingers. And you'll be able to just think something or hear something in your head and play it. Isn't this the kind of thing you signed up for when you decided to learn to play guitar? I know I did. This is one of those cases where paying a little upfront with effort and a little more time and attention will pay many, many times over in the future with fun and enjoyment. And don't forget, sad but true statistic is that a large percentage of students that fumble through chord changes, they get discouraged and quit. Of course, then you'll never get there. It's unfortunate because with a little guidance and attention up front, they could be having the time of their life. So with that out of the way, let's talk about how to make this approach automatic so you won't even have to think about it. Understanding these ideas is pretty easy, but making it automatic is where the practice comes in. I had a student who could explain this whole idea of sequencing perfectly, but his chord changes still sounded really choppy. His mistake was he tried to apply this while playing whole songs, up to speed pretty much. And every time the old habits won out. What we needed to do was change up his practice to slow and deliberate steps. And within just a couple of weeks, he sounded like a completely different guitar player. So here's the plan. Phase 1 is, I'll call it static analysis. That means you just make the chords, you don't strum, you move the fingers slowly from one chord to the next and see what's going on. See which ones need to move, which ones are going to stay in place, and which ones can maybe just slide on the same string. Phase 2 is slow motion sequencing. Now you practice at slow speed, let's say quarter speed. You sequence out loud, say it out loud. Plant, lift, move, place the finger, slide. Phase 3, rhythmic integration. Yes, that means you start strumming at a simple strumming pattern and try to make the same changes very slowly, but with your right hand. And again, keep it simple. Just 10 to maybe 15 minutes a day of this practice is enough. The consistency is what will build a habit. Once you've practiced some of the specific changes we talked about, the goal is to make sequencing automatic for any chord change. So here's how you do that. First, spend a few minutes analyzing the chord changes before you learn a new song. Then, apply the slow practice rule. Always slower than you think. Smoothness comes first, speed later. Work on practicing common progressions that you can use in many songs. E minor to A minor is a good chord change. C to A minor is another good one. Of course, the G to D is always something that is both tricky and you're going to need it. Once you've practiced some of the common 2-chord changes, expand that to 3-chord changes. A very common one is the 1, 4, and 5 in any key. And once you've got some of that under your belt, expand that to 4-chord changes. There are many common 4-chord changes. I'll put a link somewhere in the description to a series on common 4-chord changes. And then finally, apply this to songs. Songs you already know to start with, and then brand new ones. Stick with it daily for 3 or 4 weeks, and your hands will just start sequencing naturally without you having to even think about it. Like what seems like most everything else, it's going to take a little bit of practice. But after a while, it'll become a habit, and you won't even have to think about it. This technique will give you the edge that you need to start feeling confident and have fun playing guitar. This in turn will make you want to practice more, and the whole thing just turns into one big success cycle. This finger sequencing method is just one of dozens of systematic techniques I've developed for adult learners. If you'd like more practical and proven advice like this, join my email list called Guitar Nuggets. Every week I share a clear, no-fluff lesson that actually works. You'll find the link down below.